right, and we are back to the fourth segment of the GSMC Basketball Podcast. Before I get into updating us on the NBA All-Star voting, I'm going to go ahead and quickly answer this question that we have in the chat. This Lakers fan was hoping that he could get DeJounte Murray, and he wanted to know if the Lakers have the pieces for him. Now, it's dependent on how the Atlanta Hawks want to handle their situation going into the draft. Now, right now, the Hawks they're not necessarily like a playoff team, as in they're not in the 6th seed. They're close to the play-in, but it doesn't seem like, they recently won those 2 games with DeJounte Murray winning the game in the end. Crucial PG in the chat, go Clippers. But once again, the Lakers, it would seem as if that is the biggest player that they are pursuing towards the trade deadline, DeJounte Murray to the Lakers. The two sides have already, I'm looking at this article right now. It says that the two sides have already spoken about the framework of a potential deal, but nothing has nothing has come out yet. So the Lakers guard that would be centered around this trade would be D'Angelo Russell, which I don't know if that would hurt the Lakers given how he's played recently in these last few games. But he, along with a 2029 first-round pick, would be included in the trade piece. That's if the trade goes through. I don't think the Lakers or the Hawks are going to make a trade for someone that I don't think that that's the team that they're going to send him off to. I believe that they can get a lot more value out of someone like DeJounte, and they're going to explore other options and other teams. A player who I think the Lakers should try and pursue would definitely be Zach LaVine. I believe he is a very valuable asset to any team. He's a great talent. He can shoot the ball. He can dunk. He's a great player to have another scoring option. Let me just look at the chat real quick again. Random Twitcher says DeJounte feels like one of those players that wouldn't fold playing next to LeBron. Allstar, after seeing D'Lo and Roy visibly upset on the bench last night, I'm thinking they knew something is happening. That's probably true, but then again, they might just potentially be upset at their names being involved in the trade rumors. You have to remember, a lot of these players don't want to be associated with that. They want to just play to win, and they might not like how that's being portrayed on social media. Now, obviously, that's up for discussion. We'll see what happens later on as we approach the trade deadline. But obviously, so that could change in the future. And let's talk about the actual fourth segment of the show, which is All-Star voting. So LeBron leads in the front court for the West, and Giannis leads in the East with 4.3 million votes. Obviously, the voting is more of a popularity contest than actual talent, but the front court in the West has mostly the correct choices, with LeBron, Nikola, KD, Anthony Davis, and Kawhi being the top 5 in voting. The backcourt in the West is really the part that's in question. There's no Devin Booker in the top 5, and he's had a really good season and should be in the top 5 in voting for backcourt. If not him, then maybe even James Harden's teammate, Paul George, unless we call Paul George a small forward now, in which he can't be a backcourt. But other than that, I believe the voting is pretty solid. AD is definitely a beast. Yes, sir. Joel and Giannis seem to be locked for the front court in the Eastern Conference. Since the All-Star game is being held in Indiana, Tyrese Halliburton leads the guards in votes. Trae Young is right behind him, finally surpassing Damian Lillard in voting. Even though Damian Lillard hit a game winner against the Kings, Trae Young seems to pass him in All-Star voting. Donovan Mitchell is leading the Cavs to the 5th seed without Darius Garland at the moment, which is very impressive. It doesn't seem to get noticed. He is 4th right now in the All-Star voting. Should most likely be above Lillard, in my opinion, because of what he's doing with these Cavaliers. None of the players on the Knicks, Jalen Brunson or Julius Randle, none of those players got top 5 in All-Star voting. I'm very surprised in Jalen Brunson in particular not getting in top 5 because he's one of the guards that's been very impressive. He recently dropped 40 points, especially since I believe he deserves a spot over Tyrese Maxey, even though Tyrese Maxey is having a really good season. Obviously, the All-Star format is back to East versus West. It's difficult to decide who is going to be in the All-Star game at the end because of the votings and because of how the voting system works. I'm not sure if the bench is going to be more focused on having guards or is going to be a mix of having both a good front court and a good back court. So it's very difficult to judge. Jimmy Butler is, in my opinion, the only player that should not be on that list. Jimmy Butler is a great player. He's great in the playoffs, but as of right now, he's the only player that should not be on that list. I believe Scotty Barnes should hold that spot. He should definitely be in the rotation in the All-Star game and definitely have more votes. His numbers are much more efficient. He's great for fantasy, I would know. He's arguably the Raptors' best player. Definitely deserves more votes, definitely deserves much more recognition, and he definitely deserves way more recognition than Jimmy Butler right now, at least in my opinion. Jimmy Butler only plays well in the first round of the postseason. That's when he won against the Bucks, where he averaged 33 points against the Bucks and got lucky enough to go into the next round, played the Knicks. He didn't play as well against the Knicks, and then when he went into the conference finals against the Boston Celtics, he didn't necessarily play that well in there either. And then in the finals, he didn't play that well either. Now, I'm not trying to say that Jimmy Butler is a bad player. That's not what I'm trying to say whatsoever. But Scotty Barnes is definitely a much better player, in my opinion, and should definitely deserve that starting spot given what he's doing in the regular season. Now, because this is obviously based on what we have in the regular season. Now, we know that Jimmy Butler is good in the postseason. There's no question about that. But we need to bring awareness to some of these players who are arguably having a very good regular season, and they should be recognized for having this great regular season. But as we could see right now, we are out of time right now. So thank you everyone for tuning into the GSMC Basketball Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please do not forget to like and to comment, and do not forget to tip and donate to get your comments recognized. Makes the show much more interactive. It is right below in the ticker. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. I am your host, Nelson, and as always, take care. I will see you guys tomorrow at the exact same time. And once again, take care.